Okay, so good
Hello, good
evening,
evening, ma'am.
Roshan. Good evening. How are
Good
you?
evening. Well, it's been a long day. What about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Roshan. I am from Bihar and I recently graduated with English honors. Currently, I'm working in a school to pay my bills. I love reading, watching movies, and I have also created a YouTube channel where I talk about movies, books, and do conversational videos like this.
Okay, nice. Good to hear that. Okay, tell me
Yes.
something about your journey, English journey. Like, what made you learn this English language and kind of hurdles you faced earlier? Please.
Well, I think I've shared this story many times, but it was never a conscious decision. I never thought that today I'm going to learn this language, but I was interested in stories. So this was the
Okay.
reason I changed the language of my media consumption. Earlier, when I was a kid, I used to watch mostly Hindi books, watch Hindi movies or read Hindi books, story books.
Okay.
But as I
Okay.
grew older, I moved towards, comics, and they were in English. I read manga; they were also in English, Japanese comics. And then as I grew up, I started reading more mature stuff, novels, fiction, non-fiction. So reading has helped me a lot to able to comprehend this language. And
Okay.
talking about speaking, when I was in class 11th, I was in a class where I met some of my friends with whom I could practice. But
Okay.
this is new for me, being able to talk. This is new for me.
Okay. Meaning earlier you had the environment with your friends.
No, no, no. When I was in class 11th, so
Okay.
I was with them for almost a year before COVID happened, and we used to talk, whenever we had time. But
Okay.
it has mostly been, watching movies, reading books, and podcasts. In simple words, I have surrounded myself with this language, so I didn't have to do much, like learning grammar or cramming words. In simple words, I have just surrounded myself with this language. I didn't have to put much effort. Like people cram words, but I never did that. Whenever I
Okay.
didn't know a word, I used to underline it, and whenever I had the time, I looked up. So I never had to cram, and this is what I think it is very important. When you are learning a language, no matter whether you understand a word or not, you should keep on reading or listen, or
Absolutely.
listening, whatever you are doing, and gradually you will be able to understand the word in a context.
Okay. Nice. So this, this kind of interest, like you were saying that you are very fond of, like reading stories. You are very interested in
Mhm.
that. So like,
Mm.
how come this, this brought into your mind? This, came up into your mind, like you have to do this. Any kind of story related to that experience?
Yeah, I think it was my cousin when I was around 5 or 6. They introduced me to Bal Hans, Champak, Nanhe Samrat. These books were in Hindi, and these
Okay.
books are for children, monthly magazines. So I was
Yes.
really
Yes.
fond of it. I used to wait eagerly every month, when they are going to come, and I used to finish it within a day. After doing my homework, all I did was read those books. So the stories were always with me. I wanted to know more stories. Then internet happened. You know, I
Yes.
came to understand that there is another language called English, and the amount of stories in English are uncountable. No matter whatever story you want to consume, there is a translation of it in English. So I thought, why not to shift from Hindi to English, because there is more exposure and there are more media I can engage with.
Yes.
So this is how the
Yes.
shift
Yes.
happened, and it was a gradual process. You know, uh, as I told you, as I grew older, I kept on changing my media preferences. Earlier, it used to be books for children, then comics. Also, of course, adults can also read those. So comics helped
Absolutely.
me a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
comics helped me a lot to uh, for the exposure. I was aware that there are more stories I can engage, and then movies, web series. So I
Okay.
never had to study grammar or in a
Okay.
traditional manner had to learn English. So this is how I learned it.
Okay. Interesting. So, any
Mm.
story if you have in your mind, small, short story, would you like to share?
there are there are so many. I'd love to share this story which had a huge impact on me, and I think you should also try it whenever you get free time. there is this book called The Alchemist, and I have been talking about it
Okay.
for 3 days in a row. Have you heard of this story, The
I had, yes,
Alchemist?
yes. I read this.
So, have you read it?
But yeah, you can go ahead, please.
Uh, okay, how was your experience reading it?
It was nice, but that moment I read that book, Alchemist,
Hmm.
4 years and a few months back. 4 years and
Yes.
6 months back. I think
Hmm.
during COVID. No, I don't really. I'm not really sure of that. But the thing was that that time I was quite, you can say crude and
Hmm.
feeling like insignificant. So I used to go stuck
Hmm.
somewhere earlier. I would go stuck while
Uh,
reading the particular story
hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
you're talking about. But yeah, I understood the particular point. And apart from this, I read The Secret Magic. I think you
Secret
might
Magic.
have heard.
No, I haven't
You
heard of
might have
it.
heard.
Haven't heard of it.
Uh,
No, no.
it's all
Yeah.
about law of attraction. It's all about law
Oh,
of
yeah, I have
attraction.
heard of that book. Yes, I have
Yeah,
heard of that
it's
book, but
um,
haven't read it.
there's a movie based on that particular book,
Oh, cool.
law of attraction. Yes, yes. So
Hmm.
you can just tell me, explain any story if you like,
Yes,
because
yes.
as you told, yeah.
Yeah, The Alchemist, I'll talk about in a nutshell. That book,
Okay,
I'm not going to tell the story, but I'll tell you the impact of it on my life. So, as I was talking about when I was in class 11, my exposure happened with many people. Like, I was getting to know them and I was meeting new people. And there, my literature teacher recommended me this book. So,
okay,
before that, all I was reading was comics or watching movies. Plain text was very new for me, especially in English. And that book, it was magical. I mean, in the sense, I read it so quickly that even I was surprised that I can read plain text that easily. And the story is about a guy, Santiago. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. And the book talks about our dreams, right? That
yeah,
how many we all dream, right? But when it comes to actually following it, we are so scared of it. What if we are not able to achieve it? There is self doubt, there is pressure from our parents, societal issues. So there is a lot of factors when it comes to following our dreams. But in that book, that guy follows his dream and he's actually able to, I'll not spoil it, but he's able to go through, all those obstacles. But the ending is really beautiful. And I'm not going to spoil it. Whoever is watching this, if you want to get into reading, you should definitely check it out.
yeah. Alchemist, really interesting book. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
especially
Yes,
for
yes.
beginners, the one who wants to get into reading. And because of that, I was able to read a lot of books. Paulo Coelho, the author name is, I always
Yeah.
mispronounce his name.
Like was
It is
this
Paulo Coelho.
quite
And
weird?
yes, yes. He's from, I think, Germany or something. I'm not sure. So his books are really fascinating. I have read another book from him called 11 Minutes. It's for adults, but it deals with so many things, especially our marriage life. I'm not married, but it deals with marriage and every aspect of being an adult. So his writing is very fascinating. The viewers should definitely check it out.
Absolutely. And the thing is, I would like to know something from your side that there are many people they have this complaint that when it comes to read things, so they feel like sleepy. It's
Hmm.
quite
It's
becoming
it's
boring. Yeah.
Yes, it's a very common thing. When it comes to reading, we are not used to it. But I won't recommend to read whatever people tell you to read. Even if I'm telling you to read The Alchemist, you should check it out for yourself, whether you are actually into it or not. If we are interested in something, we can read it. Otherwise, if you're forcing yourself, of course you are going to feel sleepy
Agree.
or bored of it. And especially in case of not being used to reading, you know
Yes.
nowadays all we do is just scroll social media. We don't even talk to people. So who talks about reading nowadays? Reading
Yes.
is
Yes.
The culture
It
of
has become
reading is
old
not very
fashioned.
popular.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But it is very important to read, not just to learn this language, but it provides you with different perspectives. You are able to convey your ideas in a better manner and you get to know
Yes.
about the world. It's not that you asked about being bored. So I'll just recommend to read something fictional, something which you
Yes.
are interested in. If you are into a
Yes.
sports,
Yes.
then pick up a book which deals with sports. If you are into philosophy, then definitely you should go. Otherwise, if I'm into sports and somebody asks me to read philosophy, it will be challenging for me,
Yeah.
right?
How can I? How would I?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Of course, you might find something relatable in to keep on going, but at the earliest stage,
Absolutely.
you are going to fall asleep.
Yeah, it happens. Okay, so how much this helped, reading books to you? How much this helped to you so far?
I
How much
think
this has helped you?
I think 90% of my English has come from reading, and a
Okay,
rest of 5% I'll talk about being able to talk, and 5% by listening. I listen podcast a lot, especially of comedians.
okay,
There is this guy called Theo Vaughn. He's from America, and I like the absurdity in his conversation. Whenever he's talking, he talks about absurd stuff, and that's really funny. Even though there is a huge cultural difference, he's from a different country, I'm from India. Our comic timing is very different, but
yes, yes,
being able to relate with his absurdity has helped me to stay connected to his podcast. So
okay,
again, I'll recommend you to listen to something or read something which you are interested in. Otherwise, people will keep on telling you to listen to this guy, to read this book, and you will lose the interest. To find
okay,
something, and I think I was I'm quite lucky when it comes to picking my books or the media, because I always go with my instincts. No matter, even if my best friend is forcing me to read something, I'll make sure
okay,
to go with my instinct, right? So it has helped me being able to make my own decisions, especially in context of reading or just learning this language.
okay, okay. Nice, nice. I wanted to ask something, but it all of a sudden just slipped from my mind.
That's all right. No,
Yeah.
I think you are doing a great job, especially on YouTube, being able to connect with these many people, and you are conducting classes too. So that's really great, and I hope you continue to do so.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the thing was that apart from reading books, like
Hmm.
I think you might have done something for that, like to speak English, to to just
Yes.
make yourself come out from the comfort zone. So you might have
Hmm.
done something. So would you like to share something?
Sure, sure. We talked about my class 11. So there it happened. For the first time, I was talking to real life people in English.
Okay,
And it happened
okay,
for almost 8 to 9 months. We regularly got together. We talked about things, what we were watching, what we were reading. This is what we did. And I think but still, I won't say I'm an introvert, but I don't approach people. Recently, I have started doing so, but ever since
okay,
I was a kid, I have mostly stayed into my own little world. But because of that, I think that I have missed out on so much. So now I'm approaching people, right? And for that, I think even this camera thing, I was really conscious of it. Whenever I came in front of camera, I completely froze. So
okay,
in 2023, last year, I used to record myself like almost every day for 5 minutes, for 7 minutes, or 10
okay,
minutes maximum. I used to record myself, and I didn't upload those videos. All I talked about how had been my day, what I did, what I'm planning, and I realized that I was making progress. I was able to
yeah,
convey my ideas in a better manner, and I felt comfortable speaking in front of camera. And for the past 7 to 8 months, I have been putting myself on the internet. Whenever I read something, I come here and talk about it. And for the last 1 month, I have been doing conversational videos. So I would say it's been a journey, starting
okay,
very
yes,
taking a
yes.
small steps, and then being able to comfortably talking to people. So it's been a journey, man.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And
Mm.
on every single day, like how often you talk with people, like the session, the number of session, I would like to know.
Uh, I would say I do 4 to 5 conversation every week. Like for the
Okay,
past one
every
month,
week. Okay,
yes, yes. Like this is my second conversation today, but most of the time I escape. Whenever I think I'm comfortable enough to talk, I reach out to people, and then we set our time and we talk. It's not a regular thing,
okay,
but like whenever I'm recording, I make sure to record 2 sessions. Like today,
okay,
I have done that, and then hopefully, maybe on Saturday, on Sunday, I will do another 2 sessions. So this is what I do,
okay.
because
So, yes,
school takes time, and when I return home, I'm already
yeah,
tired, and then there is my
absolutely,
studies too. I have to study and have to take care of my physical health too, mental health
absolutely.
too. I work
Yes,
out.
yes,
So you have to manage everything, right?
absolutely. True that. Okay. Okay, Roshan. So let's wind up the session. And it was really, really
Sure,
nice
sure, ma'am.
conversation with you. Thank you.
Same
You
here,
gave
ma'am.
me your
It
precious
was
time.
really
Thank
nice.
you. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Bye
Thank you
bye.
for having me. Bye.
Okay.